This is a really good matchup. No matter what people have to say, hate or dislike Jake Paul, because I was gonna say like or dislike, but does anyone even like this guy? Everyone seems to hate this guy. That's what I'm saying. Whether you hate or dislike Jake Paul, you have to give him credit for this fight. Because I'm gonna be honest, any idiot that even thought he was gonna lose any of his fights that he's had so far, the Deji fight, I put a shit ton of money on Jake Paul to win. Thank you, Jake Paul. The Gibb fight, I put a shit ton of money on Jake Paul to win. Thank you, Jake Paul. The Nate Robinson fight, I put a shit ton of money. Thank you, Jake Paul. And Ben Askren, thank you, Jake Paul. I put a shit ton of money. Thank you, Jake Paul. All of them fights were actually close in terms of odds, which is kind of mad. That's why I made a lot of money. Thanks, Jake Paul, again, once again. I really appreciate it. In these hard times, it's really nice to win. But this fight is kind of mad. Like, I was watching some of Tyron Woodley's striking. You can tell this fucker's got some power. This fucker's got power. So yeah, Tyron Woodley, watch his like boxing highlights, and when he's throwing punches, this fucker can punch hard. And watch Jake Paul's fights against Ben, Anderson Gibb, and Nate Robinson. Watch the first 30 seconds, Jake gets hit. And he loses the first 30 seconds. If he gets hit by Tyron, my guy Tyron, bullying people down the streets, can he take it? Like, this is the first fight where I'm genuinely like, oh shit, this is a fucking fight. And this is where I start to think, is Jake chewing more than he can bite? Or whatever the fuck the saying is. Biting more than he can chew. Has he kind of deluded himself in thinking that him beating Anderson Gibb, who I'm pretty sure thought he was doing a squatting match with Jake Paul, not a boxing match, and then him beating a basketball player who is famous for being the shortest basketball player ever, a retired shortest basketball player ever, who never sparred in his whole life, and then fighting a guy who's the shittest MMA fighter ever in terms of punching. The Gibb fight, I thought he was going to win, but I didn't think he was going to knock him out in the first round. I thought he might stop him late, but I said points, Jake Paul points. The Nate Robinson fight, yes. That's like the only fight why I expected Jake early. Like, I genuinely thought he was going to knock him out in the first round. It took him a bit longer, but he did knock him out. And then the Ben Askren fight, you know that fight, I was still questioning whether Jake does have power, because like, Nate Robinson was already concussed. He was already hurt. So I didn't really take too much from the Nate Robinson fight when Nate Robinson got hit and he slept for like 2 days. So I knew he could punch a bit, but I didn't know how hard he can punch. But then what he did to big boy Ben, or should I say fat boy Ben, was crazy. Literally the first punch he landed, the guy froze. He just literally froze in the air. Obviously, I'm going to be doing a more analytic version and a more breakdown on my actual prediction on fight week. But how I'm thinking right now, and this is how I'm feeling right now, so this can change. I feel like Tyron does look chinny. Jake Paul does look like he punches really hard. And Jake Paul hasn't really been hit for us to know how good Jake Paul's chin is. And Tyron looks like he does punch really hard. So this fight will be really good. This is the first 50-50 fight that Jake Paul has had in terms of my level, because I know a few other idiots. And you know, in the Ben Askren fight, I genuinely think most people wanted Ben to win. I can't see how you thought he was going to win unless you were just a hater and stuff. You just have to keep it real sometimes. I want a shit ton of money on the Jake Paul Ben Askren fight. I was so happy. And from what I've heard, because obviously I'm not in camp, from what I've heard, Jake Paul spars with these type of MMA fighters. So he's going to be used to Tyron's style, because he's sparring MMA fighters. And most MMA fighters have got sort of similar type of style. Whereas if you're sparring for a boxer, it's more traditional. But Jake Paul's sparring MMA fighters. He's been sparring MMA fighters since early on in his career. So he's pretty much used to Tyron's style. Whether he can take Tyron's punch is another question. So we'll just have to wait and see. I'm excited. No matter what you say, you have to respect Jake. Win, lose or draw. Hopefully he gets knocked out. But It'll be a good fight. I'm definitely watching this. It's the first fight where I'm actually excited for. Obviously, I was excited for excited for the other fights, but this one is like, oh, I don't know who's gonna win. This is the first fight where I'm like, oh shit. This is the first Jake Paul fight where you don't know who's gonna win. So yeah, subscribe for later on prediction, maybe in about a week of fight week. Comment down below you lot's thoughts, prediction, early on prediction. You lot can change it as well. Subscribe for more bollocks, and peace.